Hello everybody, this is Paul in the commentary box. I am talking at a normal volume level and now we're getting very excited. This is when we get very loud and then we're back to a normal level again, talking test 1, 2, 3 ahead of qualification. Here is a second audio test at a normal volume level, 1, 2, 1, 2, Paul in commentary. Now going loud, 1, 2, 1, 2, Paul in commentary. Test, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. This is the commentary box, doing an audio test in 1, 2. Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to qualification for round 9 of the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour.
Queridos
here
amigos, ¿cómo
in
están?
South
Muy, pero
America
muy buenas
at the
tardes. Los saludamos desde el Autódromo Víctor Borrell Fabini en la República Oriental del Uruguay, ubicado a unos 31 kilómetros de Montevideo, la capital oriental. Este autódromo inaugurado en el año 1940, que tiene 84 años para recibir al Campeonato Mundial del Turismo y al TCR Sudamericano.
Over the course of the weekend thus far, and I'm sure that we are set for a very, very entertaining hour's worth of on-track and on-air action for you all watching at home. My name is Paul Jeffrey. It's an absolute delight and a pleasure to be with you here again today. Air temperature 11 degrees. It's not the warmest day it has ever been here at El Pinar, but that's going to be no problem at all for our drivers as they go out into this first Q1 session. Pre-practice suggests it's nice and tight on the timing boards, and I certainly think we've got a good day of activity ahead of us, so don't go anywhere. We're only a few moments away from hitting the racetrack. The Kumo FIA TCR World Tour field and the TCR South America field join forces. Driver standings you see on your screen there, 15 points is the gap between our leader, melhores, and Esteban Gurrieri. Ted Bjork in third position for the Link & Co Cyan Racing team, following a run of fourth, it has to be said, over the previous couple of rounds. In the team standings, it is Cyan Racing at the top of the table. They have a 19-point advantage over the BRC squadron at Consecutivo 19, and then in third, it is Go Racing, such an impressive outfit on their debut here for tin-top touring car competition. Beautiful drone shots flying over the top of our field of drivers, and this is said field of drivers for this race. 25 drivers are taking part this weekend. We've lost a couple of the drivers and gained a couple more since we were in Interlagos just a couple of weeks ago. Rodrigo Baptista, Squadra Martino Honda, and Carlos Silva, Paladini Race Toyota are new names on the list. Yanatone Gutierrez, Ricardas, Pinar and Piquet have not made the trip over to Uruguay, and Norberto Fontana has swapped from a Cobra Racing Toyota to a Squadra Martino Honda for this particular round. We've got TC 2000 champions aplenty. We have got drivers who have won at the very highest level in tin-top touring car competition, and we've got a field full, absolutely full of talent on track that I think you will agree with me when I say are the very best of the best of the best touring car drivers in the world. That's the Cyan Link & Co racing team that you can see on your screen. Ted Bjork, Jan Elishay, and just at the top of the shot, Santiago Urrutia, home hero. Santiago Urrutia won last weekend out, and he's already on form in pre-practice. Expect him to be one of those drivers that are going to be at, or certainly very near, the sharp end of the field when we get going in qualification in just a few months' time. And speaking of qualification, as you can see, the sun is kind of shining here in Uruguay. It has been incredibly wet, wild, cold weekend up to this point. Pre-practice 1 and 2 held earlier today. We're in very, very wet conditions. The rain had stopped for FP2, but the track was solid for our 25 touring car drivers. These are the driest conditions then that realistically we have experienced in competitive competition this weekend at El Pinar. So it's going to be a very new adventure. But let's go down now to Lisa Leyland on pit lane to have a quick look.
Bueno, Lisa Leyland es la encargada de las notas en esta oportunidad aquí en el Uruguay y para todo el mundo.
Coming into this weekend, you guys are leading the team's championship so far. In terms of your approach this weekend, how would that affect it?
It will affect it that we plan to keep that lead, so we're going for it, and we have had 2 good test sessions now, so we really hope to be able to put the car on pole. And Santi is strong at his home track, so we're really looking forward to qualifying now. Weather is much better now, it's dried up, so hopefully we will have a good one and be on pole.
You mentioned Santi, let's quickly talk about him. He was pole last year, fastest in that first race last year. It is a home round for him. How's he managing everything around it?
Well, it's a home run, but also he's carrying weight, so we will see a little bit how that affects now when it's gone dry. It doesn't have that same effect when it's wet, but hopefully now we will see the pace of the cars and have one of the cars on the top, as long as it's a blue one.
And just finally, before I let you go, let's talk a little bit about
the
Ted,
Lincoln
37
Coach squad, and we're riding on board
Ted.
with one of his charges
Like he struggles
this
a little
weekend.
bit in that
Santiago
pre-practice, but I
Urrutia
know
carrying one
he's,
of our onboard
looking to go
cameras,
for that
as
title at
is
the
the
end of the
Kumho
year
FIA
now.
TCR World Tour leader Nobbe Michaelis, the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa Elantra N. Q1 has begun, as you can see on your screen, 19 minutes and 22 seconds remaining this opening portion of qualification. Anybody new to the world of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour? First and foremost, a thank you to you for joining us this weekend. Just to give you an idea of what to expect from Quali, Q1 will be a 20-minute session. At the conclusion of that 20-minute session, the top 12 fastest drivers will move through to Q2. 13th position on down, that will be a grid place set for both races tomorrow here at Pinar. In Q2, the top 12 drivers will go for the quickest time overall, top 10 of which will start.
Estamos viendo el parador Gonzalo Rodríguez, la curva que lleva el nombre de el recordado piloto uruguayo cuando ahí pasa por la recta principal.
So 10th quickest in Q2 will be pole position for race 2 of the weekend. Bit of strategy required from some of our drivers. There's points paid out as well for qualification. The combined overall final results, 15 points for the fastest driver, all the way down to 2 points for 6th position. So you have to balance. Do you want to be fast in quali, get the good starting position for race 1 and the points that come with it? Or do you want to play the strategic game, set yourself up for a race 2 showdown? We've seen many times before the race 2 reverse grid often can lead to a strong result. Just ask Nobbe Michaelis at Interlagos last time around. But here, it's a very different proposition indeed at the Pinar circuit. It's a much smaller, much smaller circuit than what we saw at Interlagos. 3.125 kilometres, which is around 1.94 miles, 12 corners, and a fastest race lap record from last season of a 1 minute 20.774 by that man there, Santiago Urrutia. Racing on home soil for Santi. This is a big weekend, the biggest arguable weekend of his racing year. Had a good second position in Interlagos in the opening race a couple of weeks ago. Urrutia will be hoping to carry that form forward. And one thing is for sure, the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co squads have been very quick in the wet weather so far. They have been the car to beat. Bebel Girolami, though, puts that one to a lie immediately, going fastest for the first time laps of the day. Remember, not much dry running has been had here at Pinar, so none of these drivers realistically have got a bank of data knowledge. The layout was new for 2023 when we came here last year, so it's not even that much advantage for the home talent either. It is a relatively new experience for all concerned. The GOAT racing cars come back down pit lane. They'll swap their tyres around, rears on the front, fronts on the rear, help get a heat cycle through there and help with their particular challenge. Dusan Borkovic, the third of those 3 GOAT racing cars. Of course, Marco Butti, Esteban Gurrieri being the other 2 drivers. Gurrieri, currently the driver, looking the sharpest in the points tally. But as we've seen many times in motor racing, things can change very rapidly indeed. What can be an advantage one weekend can be a disadvantage another. And another point on that one is Esteban Gurrieri is carrying 40 kilograms of success ballast, just like Rafael Suzuki in the Peugeot 308. 30 kilos for Santi Urrutia, Nobbe Michaelis and Reichel. 20 kilos for Ted Bjork. 10 for Marco Butti and Pedro Cardozo. Right then, here we go. Ted Bjork is fastest, immediately marching Hua has dispossessed the Swedish driver at the top of the field of 1 minute 22.622. We're running in and around 4 seconds quicker than we were in FP2 just a few short hours ago. So the track conditions most certainly are giving up plenty more grip than we've seen at any stage over the course of this weekend. And to good effect, Mikel Azcona now goes fastest. Half a second to the good for the Spanish driver in the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa Elantra. 1 minute 22.107 for Azcona. A good start to his particular qualification. Casagrande in 6th place as well as the quickest of the TCR South America drivers thus far. Good stuff for Casagrande as he sets a strong opening qualification throw of the dice. Here in Q1, we often see drivers are particularly keen to make sure they get a couple of banker laps in just to understand where the grip levels are. But of course, with a circuit that is drying so rapidly, like we have here at El Pinar, you can thoroughly expect the lap times to get significantly quicker the longer the session continues on. It's all about being on track, right time at this moment in time, getting those laps in, trying to reduce the deficit to those around you. Kona, still the quickest driver. That's his teammate Norbert Michaelis that we were looking at very briefly there. And there is Michaelis from the off-board camera over the start-finish straight through into a terrifyingly quick opening portion of corners here at El Pinar. It's a lovely little circuit, very, very different to what perhaps we have been used to. And it's definitely been an interesting experience for the drivers. Very, very impressed with the racetrack. Last time out in 2023 when we came here for the very, very first time. Of course, the circuit and the whole surroundings looking significantly more developed for this year. It was very much a late throw of the dice, not helped by flooding, which is a familiar feeling in 2024, but not helped by flooding last year for the new track, but it's looking significantly more enhanced and bedded in on this second visit here to Uruguay. As Norbert Michaelis now tops the timing screens, we're at 21.7. Good time for Michaelis. He's got a 10th and a bit over Marcin Kona, teammate Mikel Kona, down in third place from Bebu Girolami and Santiago Urrutia. Looking on screen, as always, the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing Squad pretty much working together as a unit. Two of their cars steal off to the side of the racetrack and into pit lane. That is Michaelis trying to find himself a little bit of wiggle room, heads back down pit road, as does his BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa teammate. Juan Manuel Casella is in 8th position as well, so that's a good time from Casella. He's currently the quickest of TCR South America drivers, 1.2 seconds just over away from the top of the timing screen and Norbert Michaelis. So remember, this session all about getting into Q2. That's what matters for these drivers. Get that magical top 12 position and you get to go again for pole position in Q2. Currently it is Matheus Rossi that is the driver on that one. As I say that one, Rafael Suzuki goes quicker, and that is Enrique Maglione, I think it is. Car number 15. Check that on my sheet. Yes, it is. It's the Squadra Marchettino FK7 Civic off into the quagmire at the side of the circuit. There we go. Just missed the chicane. Will he miss the tyre stacks? Yes, he does. So how does he end up so far off of the racetrack? That is the big question. That wasn't quite the replay that we were looking for of that incident, but nevertheless just shows how difficult it is here on the El Pinar circuit. It's getting drier, but it's still not rich in grip as things stand. A 21.7 is our quickest time. That plays, of course, a 20.7, so we're about a second away from the overall lap record as things stand. Norbert Michaelis being the driver at the top of the timing screen. Several drivers in pit road as well. Pretty much the entirety of the top 6. Everybody coming in for a fresh set of Kumo boots before they go out again. Guerrieri leading teammate Marco Butti, and there is the inevitable red flag. I was beginning to wonder if it was a mirage, seeing that car stranded in the dirt, but it does look as though that was something that really happened, and unfortunately the red flags need to wave, of course, because we need to extract said car from its very, very sticky position to keep it safe to go racing again. And quite how that's going to be possible is going to it's going to be a big challenge for the marshals here at El Pinar, but obviously very much up to the game. I'm sure they'll very quickly extract the Honda Civic of Enrique Maglione, and then we can get on with the business of qualification. 11 minutes and 51 seconds on the clock. The clock does stop, of course, for red flags, and then we will go for the full duration of qualification in hopefully a very short period of time. Bottom of your screen is the current standings as things are. Just before that red flag, Rafael Suzuki managed to sneak in to that 12th position, dispossessing Matheus Rossi all the way down in 13th. Esteban Guerrieri, one of the big names, not through thus far. 14th place for Guerrieri. That will, of course, very much change as the session restarts again, hopefully in a few moments' time. But Esteban Guerrieri, one of the main protagonists, it has to be said, in the 2024 Kumo FIA TCR World Tour, so he'll be hoping, bare minimum, for a top 10 start for race 1 and a strong reverse grid race 2 position tomorrow afternoon. So, Mikolas from Mar is our front 2 drivers as things stand. Urrutia, home hero, in 3rd position, nearly 0.3 of a second away from the top of the field from Mikolaš Kona, and Bebu Girolami in 5th. 6th is the quickest so far of the TCR South America drivers, that is Juan Rosso. And then 7th place is Ted Bjork from Jan Elyshe, Juan Casella in 9th, Marco Butti in 10th, and then Rodrigo Baptista is just ahead of Rafael Suzuki, 11th and 12th positions respectively. Santiago Urrutia in the 112 Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing, carrying one of our onboard cameras over the course of this weekend. Hopefully some great shots that we've seen from Santi, and the festival around Urrutia that we saw in 2023 is no less dramatic this year. Very much a hero to the Uruguayan people. Everywhere you go, those barriers that you see on the left-hand side, they have been stacked with people all weekend long, trying to get a glimpse of their hero, trying to have a photo, an autograph, a quick word with Santi Urrutia. Such an incredibly busy schedule for the Uruguayan driver, but he's very firmly a favourite here in his home country. And last time around, or last year should I say, he managed to take a very famous race victory as well. Hopefully for a Santiago, that's something that can be repeated once again this weekend, because it was most certainly a very impressive sight to see the passion of the South American fans here in Uruguay, and the passion that they have for the Lincoln Co team, but in particular for Santiago Urrutia. So we've seen a few highlights from the first 8 and a bit minutes worth of qualification. As we usually see, the Lincoln Co squad go out together, working in unison. It's not really the kind of circuit where slipstream will be a huge advantage, but every gain that you can make is a gain that's certainly worth having for these drivers, so they stay out as Marco Butti gets a little bit crossed up, but does well to gather his car together. Not quite sure what's happening yet with the recovery of Maglione's Honda, Squadron Martino car. Enrique Maglione not having a very good time of it, it has to be said, with the Kumo TCR World Tour joining TCR South America. Had a nightmare weekend in Interlagos, an expensive one as well. Heavy damage in qualification to the FK7 Honda Civic, embedded into the barriers on the run down to the Senna S. And unfortunately qualifying, not quite as much damage this time, but certainly plenty of dirt and muck to clean out on that Honda Civic, as he's beached the car somewhere around this El Pinar circuit. And we'll get that one cleared as fast as we possibly can, so we can get onto track and get racing. I'll get qualifying even, once again. Anybody watching then on the TCR TV YouTube channel, a big hello to you all. It's wonderful to have you with us. This weekend is TCR, the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour travels to South America. We did the Interlagos, the Formula 1 venue in Interlagos, just a couple of short weeks ago. Fantastic 2 races that we had there. Victories for Santi Urrutia, victories for Esteban Gurrieri and Norbert Mikolas. 2 really exciting races. Then we've taken the short trip over to the El Pinar circuit, around 30 kilometres or so away from Uruguay capital of Montevideo. It's quite a remote circuit. It's very old school in its style. It's only 12 corners long. It's actually been extended and updated last year for the arrival of the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. It's a very simple yet technical circuit. There's an opportunity for drivers to overtake. There's an opportunity for bravery, for someone with mechanical sympathy and balance to make a bit of a difference. There's only 12 corners around this track. There are not many braking zones, there are not many acceleration zones, but anybody on the absolute toppest of form can certainly find opportunity. And more importantly, for the likes of you and I watching on, it's a track that allows a touring car to go racing in the best way possible. So the races tomorrow beginning, of course, with round 9 on 3 p.m. CEST, followed by round 10 at 8:15 p.m. CEST. So this is the grid that we're setting for both of those races. And to remind you, Q1, where we are now, 11 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. This will be to set 13th on down. The top 12 quickest drivers from this session will progress to Q2, where the top 10 fastest at the end of Q2 will start in that order for race 1 and be reversed for race 2. So 10th in Q2 becomes pole position for race number 2, round number 10, tomorrow afternoon. Sounds straightforward, doesn't it? Well, with 25 cars on the grid and a very, very competitively tight field, it is absolutely not an easy task to get into that top 12. I would expect more than one of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers will be under pressure to make it through. I'm just hearing in my ear then, folks, we have got 30 seconds until we go green flag racing again. So great work by the marshals here at El Pinar to get Maglioni's car cleared and out of the way. And in a few moments' time then, folks, the 11 minutes and 51 seconds that are so tantalisingly mentioned at the top of our screen, they'll start ticking down again and Q1 will commence. No, but Michaelis, the man that you're looking at resting in the car, is our quickest driver. That man, Santiago Urrutia, though, has been very quick in the wet practice sessions. He was quick here last year. He'll be one of the drivers to very firmly keep an eye out, as he's certainly going to be gunning for that pole position. Cars are in motion. The clock is a-ticking. The red flags have been unfurled back together again in the commentary boxes. In the commentary boxes even. There we go, Paul. In the marshal boxes. And we are ready to go. Qualifying once again. It's a long, long pit lane exit here at El Pinar. When we're doing the qualifying and practice sessions at least. As the drivers filter back onto the racetrack, pretty much everybody is looking to get back out on track straight away. Very few of the drivers staying in their box. Rodrigo Baptista is one of the last drivers, as is Matheus Rossi. They have both left their pit lane now, I can see. So they'll be joining this queue. There you go. Top of your shot, you'll see the red machine of Rossi coming out of pit lane. 11 minutes is not a lot of time. For 25 cars on a 1.9, just under 2 miles long circuit, this is not a lot of time at all for these drivers to set their session alight, let's hope, for several of the stars, the TCR South America and the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour field. Green flags then, nobody electing, from the front runners at least, to go back down pit lane. He's straight on to a hot lap. The field headed by Jan Alisher. He had a bit of an off in FP2. No damage to the car though in the difficult conditions. One of several drivers to go and visit the scenery. 3 red flags in free practice 2 a couple of hours ago. But absolutely no problems for the Lynk & Co squad. That car is back, fighting fit and ship shape again. As we look at Ted Bjork in the 111, rich vein of form for the Swedish driver. Bjork, in my humble opinion, is doing some of the best racing that I've seen from the Swedish driver in a long, long time. Started at Mid-Ohio, 2 electric races in America from the Swedish driver. That form carried through into Interlagos and Brazil. And hopefully for the case of Ted Bjork in the 111, will continue again here in Uruguay. Very, very strong driver is Ted Bjork. Very experienced, of course. The former world champion is Ted Bjork. But he's doing a fabulous job as things stand so far in 2024. Absolutely loves his motor racing, does Ted. Loves his TCR racing. At the moment in 7th position, but he'll be hoping, despite the 20 kilos that he's carrying, he'll be hoping that he can set a good time. And there we go with 21.4. He stops the clock with the fastest time. Jan Alisher, second quickest. Teammate Alisher moves up in a P2. Urrutia moves up in a 4th. Marching was the one that drops down in a 5th position. Then Mikkel Kona, quickest of all, the first of the really, really fast laps. 1 minute 21.203. And there is Baptista off the racetrack. Hopefully he manages to get that Squadron Martino car going. And there is Mikkel Kona. Again, gets the car off the gravel, but there are 2 very, very dirty looking TCR touring cars. That's going to be kicking a whole lot of filth onto the racetrack as well. So Mikkel Kona, having gone quickest, blocks his copybook almost immediately. Luckily for the Spanish driver though, he'll be able to get back round pit lane. The big question is though, is that dirt and muck that's been thrown onto the circuit going to compromise the ability of the drivers behind to go quicker? There's no yellow flags flying that I can see on the racetrack, so we're under green conditions. They're going a little bit slower, those 2 recovering drivers, but they'll soon be out of strife as we ride on board now with Santiago Urrutia. 6th position thus far for the Uruguayan driver. Look how hard he's having to work behind the wheel of that Lynk & Co. Trying to find the grip. The circuit is almost bone dry now We're expecting maximum lap times in these final few minutes. Ruti crosses the line, stays in 6th position. No, moves up in fact, moves up to 4th position, does Sante. Ma goes quicker though. Ma Qinghua goes quicker at 20.5. That is a sensational time from the Chinese driver. 0.6 of a second plus 0.6 of a second quicker than Norbert Michaelis. So that dirt that was kicked onto the racetrack causing absolutely no harm whatsoever, it seems, to Ma Qinghua. He's the fastest driver by a long, long way. That's the quickest we've seen anybody go this weekend. No surprises, of course, as the sun is slowly starting to take effect on this El Pinar circuit. But that is a good time from Ma. Just behind him, Norbert Michaelis as well, not a million miles away from this trio of Lincoln Co cars. Michaelis coming through Sector 1 as things stand, approaching Sector 2. I'll keep our eye on his Sector 2 time, see if it's anything to write home about in a few moments' time. But there is Ma, still on a push lap, is Ma Qinghua. Sector 2 time, Sector 1 time, very, very slow indeed. In fact, so Ma on a slow lap now, as is Michaelis behind. In fact, no, Michaelis did improve ever so slightly, but it's going to be a monster third sector for the Hungarian driver if he wants to do anything about Ma at the top of the field. This is the onboarding 105, and in fact, Michaelis bails from that one. Decides a better bet is a fresh set of tyres as Marco Butti's going the wrong direction. Butti, another one of the drivers, the young Italian, throws the car off the racetrack, manages to get it back on though without having got bogged down. Not the easiest task in the whole wide world, it has to be said. And there is the GOAT Racing Honda, back on his merry way again. Plenty of dirt kicked up on the racetrack though. That's not going to be helping. And this goes to show, folks, just how important it is to get those banker laps in quickly. Get the time on the board before something occurs that may prevent your forward progression, and that is exactly what the likes of Ma and Norby, Athkona in 3rd as well, Bjork in 4th, Rutia 5th, Elisha in 6th. Those drivers will be very, very happy with their day's work. Looking down the timing screens though, some of the drivers that are outside of the top 12 that perhaps would not expect to be in that position. Borkovic down in 15th place. Rafael Suzuki, that completely mopped up for the South America field last time, he's down in 17th place. Is Suzuki, so expect him to be able to have designs on moving in to the top 12 before the checkered flag falls. Currently that 12th place is held by Juan Casella, but Rodrigo Baptista, as I'm saying that one, goes quicker and into that 12th position, so Casella drops down into 13th place now. Let's take a first look at the number 17, Mateus Rossi. Very decorated driver, the Toyota Team Argentina Corolla. Beautiful to see the Toyota Corolla, of course, developed by Toyota Team Argentina, racing in the South America Series, proven to be a very, very competitive car indeed. Mateus Rossi, one of the biggest names in South American motorsport, it has to be said, is piloting that car for this season. Did a good job. Bit of bad luck, unfortunately, crossed his way last time out, but the ex-5 times TC 2000 champion will be very, very hungry indeed for a strong result as the weekend progresses. Rafael Race that we're looking at there in the 77 as well, just ahead. 2 absolute legends of South American motorsports. Great to see both of those drivers on track. Rafael Race, for his own measure, is another one of those drivers that you can always expect a very, very, very strong performance from. P1 at Interlagos, TCR South America. Last time out, so he knows how to pedal this TCR car. Rafael Race, as things stand, currently down the timing screens, very unexpected in fact, in 19th place. 77 very firmly on a push lap, so we stay with the Cupra driver as he tries to improve his lot. 2.4 seconds, nearly 2.5 seconds he needs to find to be in the conversation with Ma Qinghua at the front of the field. It's Beppu Girolami, 7th place as things stand, 1 second in arrears. Girolami's made something of a routine of the reverse grid swapsy in qualification, qualifying around the lower reaches of the top 10 to give himself the best chance possible in race number 2, but not today. Girolami up into 2nd position, the 129. Good time there from the Argentine driver, Beppu Girolami, another popular driver in this part of the world. That'll be a very gratifying result for the BRC man. 2nd position, a 1 minute 20. 0.987, 0.4 of a second away from marching Hua as things stand. Good time for Bebo, just ahead of teammate Nolan Miklis and Mikel Azcona. There's a bit of grass for Bebo Girolami though. Foot planted firmly to the floor for the Argentine. It's not going to delay in any at all apart from the additional racetrack. He's had a cover, running so deep into the corner. The number, there's a big bit of contact there though. That is one of the Toyotas. That is Vivacqua. Thiago Vivacqua, big contact with the barriers for the Cobra Racing Team Corolla. Not a good way to end Q1 for the number 7 driver. That is a lot of damage on that Toyota Corolla. I do fear this will be a red flag, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be mighty difficult for the field to close up. Mikel Azcona had just gone quick, second quickest by the way, and Marching Hua still at the top of the time during that particular incident. But let's have another look at this one. So easy to do, too much speed. You hit that grass with all the rainfall we've had here in Uruguay. There's only ever going to be one result, and that is straight to the scene of the accident. And that is a very sad looking Toyota Corolla indeed. The Thiago Vivacqua and the Cobra Racing outfit, I dare say that is going to be a significant amount of work to get that car up and running again for the racing tomorrow. Whereas Thiago 22nd on the timing screen, 3.3 away from the top of the field. Last time around was an outlap. That was his push lap, so a little bit too much asked of the grip and the conditions. Unfortunately, the end result was contact with the outside barriers. Hopefully Thiago is all fit and well following that little bit of a meeting with the tyres. But one thing's for sure is that Corolla is most certainly not fit and well. Hopefully that's something we can clear away very quickly. But with 2 minutes and 21 on the clock, it's going to be very difficult to get this race, this qualifying session back in action and people to set a meaningful time. So the likes of Borkovic down in 17th position, it's going to be very nervous, will the big Serbian. Suzuki, 20th place, another driver, Rafael Suzuki for the PMO squad. The 308 Peugeot was absolutely in the mix of the top 10 last time around. He's going to be very disappointed. Will Rafael Suzuki with 20th place, a lot of work to do for him. Matthias Rossi will be happy with 12th. He's the man on the bubble as things stand. If the session finishes like this, he will be the one that goes through into Q2. John Filippi as well for Volcano Motorsports. We've not spoken about the French driver John Filippi much in qualifying. Had very difficult 2 free practice sessions. No pace in that car, very much outside of the top 10 running. But he's done a very good job in quali to get up to 9th place as things stand. A 1 minute 22.141 for John Filippi. Good qualification session for the sole Audi on the field, the Volcano Motorsports run. Audi in 9th place, just ahead of Marco Butti, we saw having his own dramas a little earlier. This is a good opportunity for Butti to get that Honda cleaned up again, get a new set of tyres on, work out what went wrong, try and put things right for when we go green flag racing again in a few moments' time. I was hearing, by the way, that there are some barrier repairs required, courtesy of Vivacqua's contact, so there will be a slight delay to the restarted qualification session. I'll let you know as soon as I know myself when that will be, but at the moment we don't have a restart time. Hopefully that is light repair work needed to those barriers. It's not an unfamiliar situation. It's very much what we had last time at Interlagos, although last time we went well over the 1 hour mark. This has been a significantly smaller piece of contact for Thiago Vivacqua, so hopefully the repair work will be smaller still when we can get racing, or qualifying even, once again. So then, 2 minutes 21 seconds left in Q1. It is Marching Hua that is the fastest driver from Mikel Azcona. In 3rd place, it is Bebo Girolami from Norbert Michelis. Then Jan Alishay and Ted Bjork are the 5th and 6th quickest drivers. Santiago Urrutia is in 7th place, just ahead of Esteban Guerrieri. John Filippi is in 9th from Marco Butti. Then it's Juan Casella in 11th from Matthias Rossi, 12th position. Rodrigo Baptista is 13th from Norberto Fontana, and then Pedro Cardozo in 15th position. Juan Rosso is 16th from Dusan Borkovic in 17th. Rafael Reis Galid Osman, Rafael Suzuki at 18, 19 and 20. In 21st, so far, is Fabio Casagrande. 22nd is Carlos Silva. Thiago Vivacqua, that we just saw contacting the barriers, is 23rd quickest. And then Reichel and Maglione at 24th and 25th positions, respectively. Maglione, of course, though, is out of the session, courtesy of Beach in his car at the very, very start of the Q1. Esteban Gurrieri, that you're looking at there, umbrella up in the window to protect him from the very rare sight of sunshine here in Uruguay. Gurrieri having a solid session as things stand. 8th position is all important. Top 12. Marco Butti, a little bit second-hand looking Honda. They'll get that car cleaned up though. That'll be no problem for the Italian. He's in a good place to move forward, as is John Filippi. French driver for Volcano Motorsports, car number 127. The only Audi in the field. Interesting to see how the dynamic has changed. Audi was very much the car of choice in many TCR competitions in 2023. Seems to be less favoured now. Volcano only fielding the one machine, of course. We started with Sami Taufik at the start of the year. Taufik, unfortunately, is no longer a part of that operation, so he's down to a one-car squad, headed up by John Filippi. He was in TCR Europe last year, challenging for the championship. It's his first time on the world stage, and it is fair to say that the young Frenchman is very much enjoying life in the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. And a good year so far, new into the Volcano Racing squad, Volcano Motorsport squad, should I say, sorry, is John Filippi. Just getting acquainted with himself and with the team, but he's doing a good job thus far. Had a P5 last best qualifying result in Marrakesh earlier on in this season. That was the second race meeting of the weekend, and of course he won race 1 at Paul Ricard in TCR Europe in 2023, which is his last best TCR result. So Filippi, looking forward to having a good race weekend, I'm sure. There is Thiago Vivacqua's contact with the barriers. Look like a reasonably light contact, but there is damage to said barrier, so I dare say that the El Pinar marshals will be on the case very, very quickly indeed. But I do think that for Thiago Vivacqua, and more importantly the Cobra Racing team, that is the end of their qualification session for sure. That car will be recovered back to the garage, any damage will be repaired, and hopefully they'll be okay to go racing tomorrow morning. Rafael Race, we saw briefly on screen there, and Bebu Girolami, one of the star performers, it has to be said, in qualifying, up in 3rd position. Good session for Bebu Girolami as things stand. Quickest driver from TCR South America being Juan Casella, 11th place so far for the Honda driver. Juan Casella had a mixed bag at Interlagos, it has to be said, involved in some good fighting, didn't quite get the results he wanted. A contact and DNF as well definitely wasn't on the cards. He'll be hoping for a much better time of it in Uruguay. And Rafael Suzuki was one of the stars, the driver in fact, of the day, as voted at Interlagos. Won both TCR South America portions of the race, was very much in the top 10 as well of the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour field, fighting very hard with the World Tour regulars. But unfortunately for unfortunately for Suzuki, it's not looking anywhere near as successful in qualifying so far. 20th place is not where he's going to want to be when the checkered flag falls in Q1. There is Juan Rosso that we saw very briefly as well in the Palladini Racing Toyota. Beautiful livery on that Palladini Racing car. And then there is Reichel, Guilherme Reichel for the WT Pro GP squad. Alongside him, some beautiful liveries, by the way, it has to be said, in the world of TCR South America. It's an incredible field. It's thoroughly impressive and always is. Great teams, great drivers, great cars, and even better racing. Galid Osman, the other W2 Pro GP car that we just saw very briefly on our screen. Then it's Rafael Race. 3 W2 Pro GP cars, 3 very, very different liveries. Keeping him company, Norberto Fontana, Squadra Martino Racing, makes the move over to the Honda squad. Norberto Fontana, of course, and a handful of Formula 1 racers all the way back in 1997 for Sauber, and then has gone on and won a couple of TC 2000 championships since then, and a very successful career. Juan Manuel Casella, the other of the Squadra Martino drivers that we just saw very briefly on our screen there, and then Fabio Casagrande, another Squadra Martino, but this time in the Civic Type R FK7. The older generation Honda Civic, still very competitive indeed, as Rodrigo Baptista, I am sure, will testify to. He's doing a good job. 13th in qualifying as things stand in car number 3. Moving up, there is the very rapidly recovered VIVO Toyota. Look at the damage on the front left, sorry, of that car. A lot of work to do by the squad to get that one looking a bit more similar to Matthias Rossi's Toyota Team Argentina machine that you see on your screen there. Looking in a much better shape if needed. A bit of a wash, it has to be said, in these difficult weather conditions. Undeterred though, the crowd watch on from the grandstands. Most of the crowd are pretty much queued up in front of Santiago Urrutia's pit stall. You can see a few of them to the left hand side of your screen there. 24/7. There is a crowd of people waiting for a quick glimpse of Santiago Urrutia, their hero. It's absolutely wonderful. Wonderful to see just how much support all of the South American drivers get. Santiago Urrutia in particular gets a significant amount of home support. Probably their most successful driver. Of course, he's been at top game in touring car racing for a long time now and did wonders to his reputation, of course, winning last year in front of his home crowd as well. I remember seeing Santi in the pit lane just after his victory, getting a quick quote from him, shaking his hand and all that good stuff. And that's the last time I saw him all weekend. He was spirited away to meetings, seeing presidents, seeing dignitaries, champagne reception dinners, you name it. Santiago Urrutia had it. It was absolutely sensational to see, and I'm sure, as you see the man in question sat in his cockpit of the 112 Lincoln Co, waiting to go again, he'll be very hopeful indeed of a repeat performance here in 2024. Okay, I'm hearing an estimated restart is just a couple of 3 minutes away, so hopefully we'll be going qualifying again very, very shortly. A reminder, if you're just joining the broadcast, first and foremost, hello, welcome to you all. This is a two-part qualifying session here in the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Q1, where we are at this moment in time, is for all cars and lasts for 20 minutes. At the end of the Q1 session, 13th position on down will set the grid for both races. The top 12 drivers will go into Q2. At the end of Q2, 11th and 12th will start in that position for both races. But for race 2, 1st to 10th will be reversed. 10th quickest in Q2 becomes pole position for race number 2. So it is vital for these drivers to be strategic in qualifying, but to muddy the waters yet further, there's also points in qualifying. For the combined final results, 15 points for the winner, 10 for second, third is 8 points, fourth is 6, 4 points for fifth, and 2 points for sixth position. So you want to score points, you want to set the grid, but also, it's going to be ideal if you don't feel like you've got the ultimate pace, that you can play the game and set yourself up for race 2. We saw Norbert Michelis do that one very nicely indeed in Interlagos. We've seen his teammate Bebo Girolami take advantage of that as well, thinking back to Vallelonga all the way towards the beginning of the season. So there are certainly different tactics that our drivers can play. By the way, in case you're wondering, when we go out of qualifying, we peel to the right hand side of pit lane, enjoy the track a little bit further around rather than immediately jumping onto the racing line. So, green flag. 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock, which is just about enough time to get out there, put the pedal to the metal and see what you can do. Martin Quali is our quickest driver from Mikel Azcona and Bebo Girolami. That is our top 3. 12th position. Matthias Rossi is the last of the drivers that are currently making their way through to Q2. So there's a lot of drivers with a lot of pressure and a lot of opportunity for good and or bad things to occur over the course of this qualification session. 1 minute 20 seconds left to decide it. Absolutely nobody will be going down pit lane. It is all about the here and now, seeing how quick you can go and if you can secure the golden ticket to the second phase of qualification here in El Pinar for the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour and TCR South America Series. Triple one of Bjork then leads us through the chicane on the first of the flying laps. We'll just about have enough time, I think, to wrap this lap and get into a second throw of the dice for those that want it. For those at the very front of the pack, Ted Bjork currently in 6th position behind his teammates. Martin Quali on pole, or fastest, should I say. Jan Elishay in 5th place. Big slide from Santiago Urrutia, trying to get the grip out of the tyres. Cold tyres. This is not the way that we would normally do a preparation for qualifying, but there's very little time on the clocks. You've got to go, and you've got to go now. Santiago Urrutia most certainly leaving absolutely nothing on the racetrack in terms of lap time, nor his teammate Jan Elishay as well, using all the curbs and a little bit more. 10 seconds left, and we're not going to have time to start another lap, I don't think, here. This is going to be a one roll of the dice only for these drivers. Can Martin Guar cling on to that fastest time in Q1? Can Matheus Rossi cling on to his Q2 position? Björk crossing the line, doesn't improve in 6th. Elishay moves up to 4th place. Michaelis in 3rd. Mar stays quickest through Kona. Urrutia stays in 7th place. Very little change at the front of the field, but the big question is, can anybody get into the top 12? That's all that matters. Matheus Rossi is currently the man that holds on that 12th position. The likes of Borkovic fail to improve. Dusan Borkovic fails to improve. He's 17th quickest. Now he's 18th as Suzuki moves up into that P17th place. So Rafael Suzuki does move up. Casella moves up as well. Now Boot is in 12th place, so Casella moves to 13th. Rossi drops down to 14th position. Big changes on the timing screen for these drivers. Rosso into 9th, Cardozo into 10th. Rossi moves back into 12th. Matheus Rossi almost kicked out of qualifying, but he moves back in to that 12th position. Marco Butti is the first of those that don't make it through. So that is a big loss for Goat Racing. Both Marco Butti and Dusan Borkovic don't make it into the second part of qualification. It is Matheus Rossi that holds on to that 12th place. A 1 minute 22.027 at the flag. Great time from Matheus Rossi. That means he gets it through into Q2. Good qualifying, but Marco Butti will be 13th, and this is the provisional Q1 results. Remember, the top 12 is just to get through in a Q2. Martin Guar from Mikkel Kona and Norbert Michaelis, Bebo Girolami, Jan Elishay and Ted Björk are the top 6, and there, Matheus Rossi in 12th. Marco Butti will be 13th from both races, from Roberto Fontana, Juan Casella, Rodrigo Baptista in 16th. Rafael Suzuki moves up to 17th ahead of Dusan Borkovic. Rafael Reis, Galen Osman, Fabio Casagrande, Carlos Silva, Thiago Vivacqua with contact, and then Rachel in 24th place from Enrique Maglione, who doesn't set a time, having stranded the car early doors. Well, expected there to be some improvements, but goodness me, Marco Butti and Dusan Borkovic not making it through to Q2. You would not have expected that one coming into qualification, and that's a real shame for Marco Butti and Dusan Borkovic. They've got a big amount of work ahead of them. So, we've got a few minutes rest and relaxation ahead of us before we go racing again, or qualifying again for Q2. This is going to be an opportunity for a reset for our top 12 drivers. This is going to be an opportunity now for the decision and the tactics. Do you go for the fast time, or do you go for the top 12, top 10 even, for the reverse grid? It's going to be very interesting indeed to see exactly what's happening. What's most interesting is coming into this qualifying. Practice form suggests that Lynk & Co have the quickest car, but look at the times. Lynk & Co first, Hyundai, second, third and fourth. Did not expect that one coming into Q. This is going to be absolutely fascinating to see who's got the pace in Q2. Cars on the jacks, then there's only a few moments to go before we do start the 10-minute qualifying session. Just remember, this is 10 minutes. The 12 quickest drivers take part. The top 10 will reverse for race number 2. 11th and 12th will stay on those starting positions for both races. Race 1 takes place tomorrow morning at 3 p.m. CEST, and race 2 a little bit later on in the day, 8:15 CEST. All on the TCR TV YouTube channel, as 9 and 10. The Kumo FIA TCR World Tour, of course. Qualifying will take place, will commence in another 2 minutes. I am just being informed. A little bit longer than usual break between the two sessions just to clear everything up. And then we will go qualifying again for the final time. And there you go. That is your confirmation. Q2 start 15:52. Local time, of course, here in Uruguay. 15:52. Being, of course, around 19:52 UK, 20:52 CEST. While we wait for that to go, though, let's have a look at a few highlights of the Q1 session. Several big names fell by the wayside in Q1, where contact with the barriers for Thiago Vivacqua came an early end to the day for the Corolla driver, and then further down the TCR World Tour drivers did not have easy running of it. Marco Butti off of track and sideways on several occasions, him and teammate Dusan Borkovic failing to make it through to the second part of qualification. That man, Rafael Suzuki, that flashed through your screen, also having a difficult time in 17th position. Everybody expected the Lincoln Co's to be the car of choice coming into qualifying. Certainly was, but marching quite at the top of the times. But it was a surprise Hyundai onslaught in second, third and fourth position. They're going to be ones to watch as qualification kicks off again in a few moments' time. A little bit of racing amongst the pack as everybody tries desperately to find a bit of real estate. Roberto Fontana to the inside. That left very, very little room indeed for the 37. Reichel gets the car back on the racetrack, thankfully avoiding any kind of contact. Santiago Urrutia racing in front of the home crowd, had a good session to get his car into Q2. He'll be very interested in seeing what he can do about the ultimate pace of the car. Can he do enough to claim the provisional pole position for race one, or will he play the strategic game and have a quick look about setting himself up for a strong starting place on the reverse 2 grid? One thing's for sure, Urrutia will want the success. That will be the most important thing for his home fans. He's got an army of followers here at the Pinar circuit, and they are very, very much rooting for just that one man, Santiago Urrutia. As we go again, 10 minutes, starting round about now for Q2. 10 minutes, 12 cars, 1 track, 2 grids we're looking to set. Who's going to be quick? Who's going to be clever? Who's going to keep it on the island? Q2 here at the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour, TCR South America at Pinar. No, but Miklis doesn't want to hang around. Very quickly clearing the 2 Lincoln Co cars. Mikel Afkona behind, trying to buy into that one as well. They don't want to play the game behind these Lincoln Co's. They want the tarmac for themselves. Afkona, almost in racing conditions, look to the inside. He's desperately trying to cling to his teammate Norbert Miklis as well, so they can go around together as a duo. And already with almost 1 minute ticked off the clock, a little bit of interference being run maybe from the BRC squad, getting in between themselves and Santiago Urrutia. Santi, occasionally prone to slightly excitable outbursts. Will probably not be too keen of that one, but needs to keep his head clear and calm. As we go now for qualifying, Norbert Miklis will be the first one across the line for the BRC squad. There's Afkona, now clear of those pesky Lincoln Co's. Girolami for good measure as well. 1, 2 and 3 for the 2 BRC Hyundais. Very, very deep. Miklis there, but nothing too dramatic. Just trying to find the grip, stayed away from the dirt rather than the rain nowadays. In qualifying, we've been avoiding puddles all weekend long, and now we're avoiding the mucky patches on this Pinar circuit, trying to find the best grip possible as you bring in the heat into the tyres and the cars. It is going to be a maximum attack. If we look at the 105, the reigning World Tour champion, Norbert Miklis, current leader of the 2024 points. Having a good season once again is Norbert, the 39-year-old Hungarian driver, former world champion, of course, in touring car racing. And now very much spearheading a newly expanded 3-car attack in the BRC Hyundai and Squadra Corsa outfit. And doing so very nicely indeed is the Hungarian driver. On board now, we break down into the right-hander. Bit of a bumpy circuit here in Pinar. As we've seen already in qualifying, you don't want to run too wide over those curbs, otherwise it becomes a very, very dirty and slippy tactic indeed. Aleshe's currently the quickest driver from Girolami. That time for Michaelis wasn't good enough. 6/10 away from the top of the tree. Aleshe with a 20.409 is our quickest. 3/10 up on Bebu, Girolami, Mikhail Kona in third, Ted Bjork in fourth. Michaelis, that we were following, only good enough for fifth. He's opening roll the dice from Santiago Urrutia in sixth. And Mar, no representative time, 21.5 all the way down in seventh position as things stand. They're on a hot lap again though. No time to mess about here at El Pinar. Second lap will hopefully bring the best of the grip from the tyres. And will hopefully give the likes of Norbert Michaelis the opportunity to try and do something about Jan Aleshe at the front of the field. Very deep though for Norby. Don't want to be doing that one. That is a couple of tenths of a second that you've just thrown out the window. That is going to annihilate the opportunity of improving on this lap, I would think. The car number 105 and Norbert Michaelis knows that one as well for the run down into the final corner. Will Norby have enough in the tank on this lap? I don't see anything particularly sparkling on my timing screen, so it doesn't look like he's improving any. And in fact, he abandons that one. So does Athkona and the third of the three BRC squads. I did expect a couple of the cars to go for a couple of time laps. Marching though currently is the only driver that looks particularly interested in that one as everyone dives for pit lane. I really did expect this to be a racetrack that kind of grips up with all the dirt, and it would be wise to go on a two-lap run. Esteban Gurrieri, another one of those drivers that's deciding that feels like an interesting tactic. The Argentine down in seventh position as things stand. So Gurrieri winding up for a second roll of the dice, just like Marching behind. There is Rosso, having not set a competitive lap time yet. Juan Rosso in the Palladina Toyota still out on the racetrack as we look now at Esteban Gurrieri and Marching. There is Matthias Rossi. Is Rossi on an out lap? Yes, he is. So Matthias Rossi hasn't gone for a time lap as things stand. He's yet to set a time in 12th position. So he's winding up for his first of the time laps. 111 Ted Bjork. Last time around was good enough for fourth place. He's coming in pit lane though for a fresh set of boots. Has his teammate Jan Aleshe behind. Quickest driver so far, Jan Aleshe. 1:20.409. Currently on the racetrack though is Gurrieri and Mar and Rosso, the only three drivers on the racetrack on a time lap. Matthias Rossi is currently on an out lap as well. The two BRC squads get some fresh Kumo boots on that car. Bit of wear and also a little bit of debris and dirt and all the usual junk that is kicked up on a racetrack. Makes it a bit more unique here at El Pinar because pretty much straight next to the grass. So anyone that goes off brings whatever garbage straight back on to the racing surface. So it becomes incredibly difficult to find some clean and tidy tarmac. Change on the timing screens as things stand. Pedro Cardozo currently in 9th place, doing a good job on his out lap as the quickest driver for TCR South America. There is Juan Rosso that we're looking at now in the Palladini Racing Toyota. Juan Rosso, very, very good driver, very good guy as well. In the car number 16 even, currently in 10th place on the 22.238. 22 flat, in fact, my apologies. 22.23 was the last tour of this racetrack. Can Rosso do anything about though his chances? 10th position will be the pole position for race 2 if things stay as they are, but John Filippi still looking to set a competitive lap time, as is Matthias Rossi. So certainly no guarantee that 10th place is going to stay in the possession of Rosso as things stand. Aleshe now comes out on the racetrack as well for his final throw of the dice. Mikhail Kona on a charge. In 3rd place, Bebu Girolami keeping a watching brief in just behind him as well. It's Mikhail Kona and Bebu Girolami. 2nd and 3rd position advantage. Girolami as things stand. He's got the toe of his teammate as well for what it's worth. That's a slow moving Marching gets in the way. That's not going to help Girolami's charge whatsoever. With the yellow mirrored Hyundai Elantra comes through that final turn. Very confusing corner there actually. It's very difficult to decide exactly what racing line you want to pick. It is one of those racetracks that does have a predominantly singular racing line, but there are opportunities to do things a little bit different if you so desire. There are both Hyundai drivers swapping off positions. Azcona is going to be the one to benefit from following Girolami now through that final turn. Did Girolami catch the tyre barriers there? I think he did. I think Bebo Girolami caught the tyre stack on the inside of the corner. You do not see that kind of mistake very often. In fact, there we go. Peels off down pit lane with damage to Bebo Girolami. A very unexpected mistake indeed from the Argentine driver. That's going to be the end of his qualifying session. He's currently second quickest, a couple of tenths away from Jan Elishay, but Bebo Girolami, too much front end on the Hyundai. Contact with the barriers on the inside, that's a real blow for Girolami, completely unexpected on that one, and that's an open door now. Michaelis, rubbing salt in the wounds, immediately goes quicker into second position, so Nobe, the 10th up, or half a tenth just over, up on Girolami, goes into second position. Jan Elishay still our quickest driver though. There you can see confirmation of those times. Azcona still in 4th place. He's coming through into second too now, so Mikel Azcona on a bit of a charge as things stand. A little bit down on his ultimate sector 1 pace, but certainly trending towards a potential improvement. Elishay still quickest from Michaelis. 1 minute left on the clock now. Elishay crosses the time in beam in a few moments' time. 1 minute 20.227 is the one time to beat, and he improves on that lap by 0.2 of a second as Jan Elishay. Putting that pole position firmer into his grasp. Matthias Rossi in that 9th place. Provisional front row of the grid, marching Quali up in 10th place. John Filippi is the one that's going to be the first to miss out as things stand, so Filippi's got work to do. Juan Rosso down in 12th as well has work to do in the Palladino Toyota. This is Matthias Rossi that we're looking at now. 9th place is a very, very good qualifying result as things stand for the Argentine. Provisional 9th for race 1, provisional 2nd for race 2. But again, that one changes. As I say, John Filippi now goes up in 8th place. Rossi is the man on the bubble in 10th. He's completed his qualifying now. So Matthias Rossi in 10th place. Marcin Guar is the first of the drivers. Going to miss out. Juan Rosso crosses the line, does not improve. He'll start both races from 12th position. Marcin Guar is the car that we need to see though. Can Mar do anything about getting into this top 10? Jan Elishay is currently the man on pole position as things stand from Mikel Azcona and Norbert Michaelis. Elishay completes his qualifying. Ted Bjork and Santiago Urrutia as well in 5th and 6th places respectively. Mikel Azcona though, does he have enough for the provisional race 1 pole position? We'll find out in a few moments time. Ross has completed his lap. He's going to start at best in 10th position, and then Mar improves, and Matthias Rossi from 10th to 11th. Marcin Guar gets that all important 10th place and pole for race 2. Azcona can't improve. He crosses the line and stays in 2nd position. Noah Michaelis in 3rd. We're looking at Cardozo now, 9th place so far. Cardozo doesn't improve. He takes the checkered flag in 9th, and I'm 2nd for race 2. Outstanding result for the number 43. Really good drive there from Cardozo, but it's Jan Elishay as your provisional pole sitter at the head of the field from Mikel Azcona. Norbert Michaelis is provisional 3rd from Bebo Girolami. Ted Bjork and Santi Urrutia 5th and 6th. Esteban Gurrieri qualifies in 7th from John Filippi in 8th. 9th is Pedro Cardozo, and in 10th at the death is Marcin Guar with a fantastic time from Matthias Rossi in 11th and Juan Rosso in 12th. And Jan Elishay likes that one very, very much indeed as the French driver. Pole position in Marrakesh was the last time he started at the front of the field, and there we go by nearly 0.4 of a second from Azcona. Michaelis in 3rd, and then Girolami, Bjork, Urrutia, Gurrieri and John Filippi in 8th. All times of course are provisional, so bear that one in mind. Then Cardozo, Mar, Rossi and Juan Rosso. Great qualifying then from all concerned. Down in the paddock Pedro Cardozo, the quickest of the TCR South America drivers. Good result for Pedro. Fabulous performance there. 9th place, of course, will be 2nd position for race 2, so a big opportunity for Pedro Cardozo to score big in the 2nd race of the day. That's a big smile. Number 43 doing a great bit of work there in the PMO Racing Peugeot 308 TCR. Jan Aleshe, though, is overall quickest driver at the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. He'll be starting, as things stand, from pole position for race 1 and 10th place in race 2. Good drive from the French driver. He's got some points to make up for, it has to be said, after a couple of difficult races, and those points will move him ahead provisionally of teammate Ted Bjork, 33 in arrears of Norbert Mikulis. So a good gap close for Jan Aleshe there. Bjork drops down to 4th position provisionally in the standings, 41 adrift. Esteban Gurrieri, 23 points now away from Norby at the front of the field. Santiago Arrutia takes a look at the timing screens. He'll be assessing just what his day looks like here. About 30 kilometers even away from Montevideo, the capital of Uruguay. We go racing again, of course, for the first time. Tomorrow will be around 3 p.m. CEST for race 1, round 9, and then 18:15 CEST for round 10. So please do make sure you stay tuned to the TCR TV YouTube channel. For myself, Paul Jeffrey, and the team, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you all tomorrow for round 9 of the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Take care and bye-bye.